If you think you could survive a week in Ice Age North America, armed with nothing but modern survival knowledge, you're wrong. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Because right now, the scariest thing roaming most of this continent is a black bear that wants your cooler, and maybe a mountain lion you'll never actually see. But rewind the clock just 12,000 years, which in geological terms is basically yesterday, and North America was a completely different animal, literally. This was a land patrolled by predators so overbuilt for violence that today's apex hunters, wolves, bears, cougars, all of them would have ranked somewhere closer to prey than predator. And the wildest part is that humans were already here for a good chunk of it, which means our ancestors weren't just visiting this nightmare, they were living in it. So let's start with the one you've probably heard of, mostly because a certain fantasy show gave it a starring role: the dire wolf. And no, real dire wolves did not look like slightly bigger huskies. They were built like something between a wolf and a hyena that skipped leg day but never skipped the gym for jaw strength. A typical dire wolf weighed somewhere around 60 kilograms or 130 pounds, so heavier than most grey wolves alive today. But the real difference wasn't size, it was bite force. Dire wolves had proportionally larger teeth and a more robust skull than modern wolves, built to crack bone rather than just tear meat, which suggests they weren't picky eaters waiting around for scraps. They were going straight for the marrow. And they weren't loners either. Thousands of dire wolf fossils have been pulled out of the La Brea tar pits alone, more than any other mammal found there, which tells us these things hunted in large packs, probably far bigger than the 6 to 10 wolves you'd see in a modern pack today. So picture that for a second. Not one dire wolf, but 30 of them, coordinated, bone-crushing, and very much aware that you, a soft, slow, clawless primate, would make an easy afternoon. But here's the thing. The dire wolf wasn't even close to the top of the food chain. Not even in the same conversation. Because sharing that same landscape was something so disproportionately terrifying that paleontologists gave it a name that translates, more or less, to short-faced bear, which honestly undersells it by a lot. The short-faced bear, or Arctodus simus, if you want to sound smart at a party, stood around 3.5 meters, or roughly 11 feet tall, on its hind legs, and even on all fours, it would have looked a full-grown human dead in the eye. Weight estimates for large males push past 900 kilograms, or nearly a ton, making it possibly the largest land-based mammalian carnivore to have ever existed in North America. And unlike today's grizzlies, which are actually omnivorous opportunists that eat more berries than you'd think, the short-faced bear had proportionally longer legs built for speed, not shuffling. Some researchers think it could hit speeds comparable to a horse in short bursts, which is an absolutely horrifying thing to learn about something the size of a small car. So no, climbing a tree would not have saved you. Running would not have saved you. At best, you'd have gotten a slightly longer look at what was about to happen. And just when you think it can't get worse, it does. Because now we bring in the cats, specifically the American lion, which despite the name wasn't quite a lion the way we think of them today, but a close relative that ended up being significantly bigger. Panthera atrox, as it's technically known, is estimated to have weighed up to 420 kilograms, or roughly 930 pounds, making it about 25% larger than the biggest modern African lions. Just to put that into perspective, that's like a lion the size of a small horse, casually stalking the same grasslands your ancestors were trying to cross to get water. And unlike modern lions, which mostly hunt in the open, using coordinated pride tactics, evidence suggests the American lion may have been more of a solitary ambush predator, similar to a tiger, which honestly might be worse, because at least with a pride, you might see it coming from a distance. With an ambush predator that size, you often don't see anything at all until it's already too late. But if there's one predator from this era that has genuinely earned its reputation as the poster child for prehistoric horror, it's Smilodon, the saber-toothed cat, and specifically the larger of the two well-known species, Smilodon fatalis, which called North America home. Now here's where it's worth clearing something up, because pop culture has made this animal look almost cartoonishly proportioned, all fang and no substance. In reality, Smilodon was an absolute tank, weighing up to 280 kilograms or around 620 pounds, with a build more like a modern bear than a modern cat. Thick, muscular, and clearly built for wrestling something. And that's more or less exactly what happened. Around 11,000 years ago, give or take, nearly all of these animals vanished within what is, geologically speaking, the blink of an eye. The dire wolf, the short-faced bear, the American lion, Smilodon, Titanus, all gone in a wave of extinctions that scientists still debate the exact cause of, with the leading theories pointing to a combination of rapid climate change at the end of the last ice age and the arrival of increasingly effective human hunters, putting pressure on the massive herbivores these predators depended on. Take away the food supply fast enough, and even the most terrifying killer on the continent doesn't stand a chance. So the next time a coyote startles you in your backyard, or a news story about a mountain lion sighting makes the local headlines, it's worth remembering that you are looking at the faint, scaled-down echo of something far more dangerous. The wolves, bears, and cats sharing this continent with us today aren't the scary version. They're what's left after the actually terrifying ones lost the fight against time itself. And honestly, that might be the most unsettling fact of all, that the version of North America we consider wild today is, comparatively, the safe one. Thanks for watching, and until next time.